Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. It's 9 o'clock on August the 19th for our last masterclass in how to pitch your idea. This is part of the Youth IDEAthon that NASE is running with support from the United Nations Development Program, Uganda. My name is Dennis Aguma. I'm the founder and the executive director of NASE. I'll be taking you through today essentially to recap and cover almost everything we've been told up until now, with the view that I should help you to best articulate your value proposition and hopefully make sure that you've understood how to complete the business model canvas. And I'll be talking about the judging criteria and the kind of things that the judges will be looking for, that if you execute, as I know you should be able to, because we've given you some deep insights into this, that one of you should be going home with at least 100 million shillings worth of seed investment grants. Actually, it's a fantastic opportunity for which we are very grateful to the UNDP in Uganda. And we have been excited by some of the ideas that we are seeing already, and really look forward to working with this particular cohort. Over 4,800 of you submitted your ideas. We know that some of you have not been attending masterclasses because they've been starting at 9. But we can tell from the videos that we've been sharing and some of the other content that you've not been sleeping. You've been busy working away at your ideas. Loads of questions have been coming in this week, not just on these platforms, but our phones have been ringing off the hook. Our WhatsApp line has been off the hook as well. Emails. So testament to what you guys, the hunger that you have exhibited is absolutely incredible. So without further ado, maybe just to mention some housekeeping rules. The last 2 days, one or two individuals, I think, overzealously were sharing their WhatsApp groups in the chat. And some of those groups, obviously, we are not, has nothing to do with the UNDP, has nothing to do with NASE, has nothing to do with the Youth IDEAthon. So we would encourage each and every one of you guys to respect the chat room. And of course, one of you who abuses that, we reserve the right to kick you out of the entire that risk is at stake. So we'd like to make sure that we keep it professional as we engage, even in the way and manner in which we ask the questions. Let's keep it cool, let's keep it easy, let's stay in the middle lane, which is the Youth IDEAthon. One of the things I've loved about the IDEAthon so far has been about the use of the chat room itself. Most of you guys will use this opportunity for you to share your thoughts on what's been happening so far. This being the last day of the masterclasses, please could you use the chat room just to let us know how have you found the experience so far? Maybe 1 or 2 words would be very helpful. What have you enjoyed the most in particular? I would love to hear those good stories. And you can, I don't know whether, yes, I think people are able to share in the chat. Out of this world, everything, very informative, happy to be here again, eye-opening, interesting words, edifying, informative sessions. Great, has been shared, exciting, fantastic. This has been so amazing and impactful, so good. Good morning, very educative, interesting, so educative. I think educative is coming up. I've actually learned businesses that I didn't know. Hello, good morning, eye-opening. As I said yesterday, knowledge is nowhere else apart from here. Educative, amazing, inspirational. Witnessed in this class was too many brilliant messages coming through. Absolutely exciting. Everything made so practical, insightful, the deep dive into the problems we're addressing to get through the VPC, encouraging, learning a lot, hands-on training, fantastic, captivating and connective. I have been motivated, insightful, wawire, simplicity at its best. These are the kind of things we want to hear. Really, we want to hear all this kind of stuff. The other thing we've done in the past has been to try and figure out who is logged in. Oh, someone says Alan Ole was my best. Excellent. Networking. Fantastic. Very good feedback. This feedback helps us to to know what's working really well. And of course, usually in the Q&A, we also get a feel of what's not working very well. If anyone has questions about ICT challenges or how to upload your business model canvases and value proposition canvases, we are going to do that at the end of the session. My colleague Dixon Mushabe is going to be here to answer all your questions. Maybe one of the other things I could do right now is to, if you could type in the chat room, where are you logging in from? We're very keen to see the national dispersion, especially with regards to internet connectivity. Naria, Kaboa, Mr. Dwayne was the best. Arua, Kampala, Wakiso, London. Oh, there's someone from London. Bundibujo, Kampala, Algeria. Oh my gosh. Mukono, Kampala Road, Kabale, my hometown. Njeru, Lira, incredible, incredible. Omuria, Fort Porto, Iganga, Namave, Mbarara, Jinja. This is absolutely fantastic to have a program that is covering essentially, Gulu city. Of course, Gulu is now a city. Afghanistan, unbelievable. Someone is logging in from Afghanistan, would you believe? Namugongo Wakiso, awesome, 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 awesome. This is really great, as I was saying, to be part of a program that has such national reach and international reach, as we found out, is really, really, really exciting. And I know that I don't just speak for myself, but also speak for our partners at the UNDP, without whose support this thing would not be happening. So thank you very much. Without further ado, let's dig into pitching your business idea. By now, of course, you would know everything you need to know about NASE, what we do, inspiring young people around enterprise and entrepreneurship, skilling them, as you've seen in some of the sessions that we've been running. Those that are lucky to join our incubation program, you will be receiving mentorship. And it's one-to-one mentorship. Really, we've assembled over 100 judges and mentors, so you're in very good hands. Of course, most of you are here because you want to get your hands on those grants, and there's quite a number of those, to be fair. And really, our vision is very simple: to leverage the power of entrepreneurship to achieve sustainable socio-economic transformation. As I mentioned at the beginning, these are the kind of events that we would do. But of course, with COVID, you can't do that right now. Most of the stuff that we're very passionate about is hands-on entrepreneurship, from an idea to actually realizing a product or service onto the market. Hence the tagline, enlivening ideas. We bring ideas essentially to life. But of course, now with COVID, everything is under lockdown. So I hope you guys have yourself a cup of tea or coffee. I am prepared with both water and some coffee because I'm prepared for the long haul. This is our last session and I want to answer as very many of your questions as possible. So do you fancy 100 million shillings? If you could type yes or no in the chat room so that we know what's going on. Do you fancy 100 million shillings? One of you guys sitting here is going to win 100 million shillings. Can you imagine? And of course, as we mentioned in our first session, the mind is very powerful. If you don't believe that you can win this, then nothing is going to happen. It's good to see that most of you are like, absolutely, 100%. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, you have to believe it in your mind. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. So good to see everyone thinks that they're going to win 200%, 2000%. Absolutely fantastic. It's the right mindset. So what's your idea? We mentioned from Monday that some of the best ideas are those that hit this particular spot. And of course, today's session is about judging. So I want to make sure that when you're presenting your ideas, that you are very familiar with this judging criteria and the kind of things that these judges are going to be looking for. Is your product or service desirable? Is it feasible? Is it viable? That sweet spot is really what you want to aim for. I mentioned on Monday, even the other day, trying to describe what desirability is. And in fact, one of the sessions that we were that we delivered was about the value proposition canvas. Are you producing a product or service that people desire, that people need, that people want? Are you solving a real problem out there? Is it feasible? Can it happen? Is it viable? If you get into that middle sweet spot, you're onto something worth exploring. And of course, the first session was about the value proposition canvas, as I mentioned. This was explained initially, and I think Alan Lule also yesterday touched some aspects of it perfectly as well. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but you know that as part of the judging criteria, you're supposed to submit 2 canvases. This is the first one, the value proposition canvas, and the next one is the business model canvas. And of course, the reason I decided to give you both of these is that, first and foremost, we wanted to make this as simple as possible. Often you are a judge on some grants or pitching competitions where you are expected to produce like a business plan of 20, 30 pages with financial projections of 5 years. I'm not a big fan of that. No one knows what's going to happen next year, later on next month, especially with COVID. It's a volatile, ambiguous, complex situation that keeps evolving. It's impossible to expect that those kind of projections will fall through. So we want to really look at mainly the idea and then the business within the idea. And this is where the whole thing starts off, by you identifying who this particular customer is, their kind of pains which you're trying to alleviate, and the kind of gains that these guys are after. If your product or service fits or delivers either of these, you are home and dry. Customers usually have fears, they have needs, they have wants. Does your product or service deliver that? That's what we want to find out. And of course, my colleague Alan from Mitch yesterday did go through the business model canvas. His approach was slightly different. When I'm delivering the business model canvas, I tend to focus on the blue area first. I focus mainly on the value proposition. What problem are you solving, and what does your product or service solve? What kind of particular aspects, particular fears, particular needs, particular wants, particular gains, fears, what does this particular product of yours solve in each of those areas? Of course, you can't design a product or service that solves the whole world's problems. There are some problems that are peculiar to females as opposed to men. There are some problems that are peculiar to men as opposed to females. Young people have different problems than old people. There are problems, particularly on the African continent, that perhaps some parts of Europe don't have or don't recognize as problems. So who is this customer that you're trying to design the product and service for? This is where the customer segments come in. And I used an example of tourism, where if you're designing your product or delivering a particular service, you really need to know who this tourist is. Are they a local or international tourist? Because that could be very different. If they are local tourists, what age bracket are they? Are they a group of school kids going to check out Amabere Ganyana Muirin Fort Portal? Or are they a group of young corporates that are going to hike on top of Mount Kilimanjaro? Or are they retired civil servants that just want to take a leisurely ride along on Lake Victoria? I don't know. The product and service for each of those is going to be different, not least because the amount of money that they have to spend is different. So you need to have clarity on who this particular individual that you're trying to design a product or service for actually is. Now, how are you getting your product or service to this particular individual? And there are various channels through which you can do that, depending on whether it's a product, physical tangible product, or a service. If it's a physical tangible product, are they actually coming to the market where you are in Nakasero or Lira or Soroti market? Or are you using Jumia, for instance, which I understand is very well supported by the UNDP as part of their endeavor to ensure that sellers bring their products to the market, especially in light of the lockdown. Are they using those kind of channels to deliver their product or service? And if so, what kind of packaging are you going to need? So for instance, if you order for a coffee or a pizza, you will notice the way it comes packed. It's a different story from you buying your matoke from Nakasero Market. I keep using Nakasero Market as an example because that's why I normally, or should I say, my other half usually buys most of the stuff. But how you deliver your product or service to the market will determine very many things. It will determine the cost. It will determine the the packaging. It will determine quite a number of things. So how is that going to happen? You need to have clarity on that. Customer relations, how are you dealing with these individuals? Are you engaging with them via WhatsApp? We have found, for instance, that WhatsApp is arguably the most important way in which people communicate. Lately, I've been seeing on Instagram, especially, lots of shops in town in Kampala here have products and services on their Instagram pages, even on the Facebook statuses. Lots of people are actually transacting. There's some kind of small markets in those kind of spaces. How are you dealing with these customers? Do you have a website where they can go? Are you calling them over the phone? Are they calling you? Are they on WhatsApp? Are you, how are you engaging with these individuals? If someone buys a product and the product is not good, what happens to that? Do they bring it back? Do they get a refund? That kind of stuff. Once you are very clear about this, then you have to go back in your back end. This is like the back side of the store. What does it take to deliver this particular service that we're talking about? To get these goods to these individuals, what kind of activities have to happen? Do you need a shop, for instance? Do you need, maybe not just a shop, do you need some members of staff? I don't know, no, I beg your pardon, that's under resources. But what kind of activities actually happen? Someone has to pack the product, someone has to deliver the product, someone has to do quite a number of things. If you're like in a bakery, someone has to go and buy the raw materials, someone has to put the dough together, someone has to bake, someone has to transport things and distribute. Those things have to be very clear in your business model canvas so that the judges know that you understand what you are, how you're going to deliver this product or services. The key word here is key, because there will be lots of other things happening in your business, most of which you really don't want to capture in a business model canvas. A business model canvas is a succinct way, it's a summarized version of your business plan, so to speak. It gives a reader an idea of the business itself, who the customers are. So you want to have a summarized version. One of the things I found very important, it's not even about the resources that you need, because when you say resources, most people focus on money. But we now know that in the entrepreneurship world, while money is really good in terms of grants or seed investment or capital investment, it's not everything. Sometimes the key partners here is really where the vast majority of your work should focus on. I'll give you an example, like NASE being the implementing partner for the Youth IDEAthon. We could not have done it without our key partner, the UNDP. So these are some of the things that you need to be very clear. And sometimes you can have some key partners where they are implicit. Like government is inevitably a key partner in almost everything. If you're going to drive from here to say a government entity to work with them, you inevitably have to encounter government in one shape or form. We've had quite a number of individuals here who are designing products and services where government is directly going to be a key partner. Right now, we are dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, and some of the ideas are coming from the health sector. It will be almost impossible not to engage with the Ministry of Health in one way, shape, or form if you are in a healthcare landscape, even public health and things like that. So this is a business model canvas. It's useless to do all this and not keep your eye on the money. Revenue streams, the key word here being streams. It's not just one source. You want to have multiple streams of income or revenue for that matter. So it's very important that you highlight them. Preferably, you want to have not just a one-off income, you want to have routine or recurrent income. But of course, not all products and services can be structured in such a way. But if, for instance, you have a market in Nigeria, in Kawari, wherever it is, and this lady comes and buys, let's say your matoke, you want to make sure that they come back next time, that they come back the third time. What are you going to do to make sure that that happens? Are you going to lower your price? Are you going to offer to deliver to their home so that they don't have to bother? What are you going to do to have these multiple recurrent streams of income? The other thing, of course, is you can make as much money as you want, but if all of it goes through the drain, if you spend all of it, you're not in business, you're making losses. So you want to achieve a situation where you have more revenue, than expenses coming in. So you need to keep an eye on your cost structure. Take advantage of things like digital platforms, the likes of Jumia, for instance, if you have a market. Take advantage of things like Safeboard or whoever to deliver your products and services. I don't know, but either way, keep your costs low. The office that you have, do you actually need that? The telephone that you have, do you need such an expensive telephone? Those kind of things. So keep an eye on your cost line. Otherwise, you're going to end up in a situation where you're making less than you're spending. So back to today's main point, which is about the judging criteria. This judging criteria, I would ask at this point my colleague Ivy to share it in the chat room so that you can actually have a look yourself. It has been there since we launched the IDEAthon, but it's worth going through it again because that's what the judging is actually about. There are some key considerations. These are the top 4 key considerations. The judging criteria, we have a judging matrix, which we have shared with the judges. And this matrix is you get marks based on these considerations. So the first key consideration is really very high. It gives you more, bear with me 1 second. It gives you more marks. You get more points by focusing on these key. Sorry, guys, can you hear me, Peter? Albert?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm not sure what happened, but somehow I got cut off. So anyhow, we are back. Yeah, so we're not looking for Nobel Prize winning ideas, but we're looking for originality. We want to see some level of innovativeness in your idea. Yeah. Next one is potential impact. Of what benefit or impact would your idea be to the socio-economic development of Ugandans? How many livelihoods is this going to impact, for instance? Of course, almost every idea here is going to impact someone, but some ideas are going to impact more people than others. For instance, if your app, I'm just assuming that this is just a random example. If you had an app, for instance, we know that schools are all closed and everyone is struggling to study. If, for instance, your app makes it very easy for all students, primary school, secondary school, university students, to all study in a way that no one has done before, huge potential impact for that, impacting livelihoods right now. The other thing, of course, is we are running this in a COVID landscape. COVID-19 has disrupted businesses and messed up people's lives, and not to mention the cost to life itself. Of what contribution is your idea to the recovery and resilience of Ugandan businesses in the wake of COVID-19? You get lots of points for that as well. Scalability. Does this idea have potential to be scaled? Not even just in Uganda alone, but in the whole region. Right now, I know that discussions are ongoing with very many partners, including the UNDP, around the African Free Continental Trade area where goods and services should be able to move across the African continent. So we're no longer talking about Uganda and selling your beans from Kampala to Kampala. No, we are talking this product or service of yours, does it have potential to scale across the continent, for instance? And with technology, these kind of dreams should be realized very easily, much more than we were able to in the past, because previously we had restrictions, travel restrictions, border restrictions. Hopefully that is beginning to change. So we want to look at those ideas. Could your idea have, additional spin-offs? Can it scale, basically? Some of the other advantages that you might have is, and again, this is maybe for those whose ideas are actually advanced, commercial viability and feasibility of your idea. Can it compete effectively and make a profit in the long run? So some of you guys might have a brilliant idea. I gave an example of one of the ideas I would love to see. For instance, when I land at Entebbe Airport, I would love to see a cable, along on top of the lake, from Entebbe, cutting through all the jam and flying essentially across the Lake Victoria up here to Kampala. Brilliant idea. Commercial viability, not so sure. Feasibility, not so sure, given the Ugandan resources, because we haven't even been able to fix our potholes. So maybe I am dreaming, but that's something I would love to see. But if you look at the commercial viability and feasibility of it right now, it might be, you might have some issues there. So those are the kind of things that judges want to be seeing. And if you are talking about commercial viability and feasibility, we have talked about some of these from day 1, day 2, and even yesterday. So please go back to the videos from Monday, Tuesday, and yesterday, which are available on our YouTube channel. Again, I would ask at this point my colleague to share the link in the chat so that people can actually go. And while you're there, by the way, do subscribe. You can see all the videos from the past, all the videos from the thematic sessions, all these masterclasses, and some of the stuff that we have coming up, most of which is very exciting, by the way. So do subscribe so that we can keep in touch. The other thing, which is, I think, arguably the most important, is the business model. Do you have a very clear implementation plan? And as I've mentioned before, the business model gives someone information about your idea and how you're going to implement that idea. So 2 key documents: the value proposition canvas, I keep going on about this, and the business model canvas. Lastly, if you want to get yourself some added brownie points, we're looking for ideas that have an element of multi-sectoral approach or collaboration. One of the things we love working with the UNDP in Uganda is their ecosystem approach, bringing quite a number of different players to solve the same situations, to solve the same issue or challenge. So to what extent does your idea fit into that spirit of multi-sectoral collaboration? The other key issue at the moment is the environmental conservation. Most of you who are in tourism might have actually very good ideas around this. We've seen quite a number, in fact, ecotourism and things like that, where it's not just about touring, but also conserving the environment. So there's some good programs that we have been able to see along the way. So to what extent does your idea fit into that environmental spirit? Of course, this being a youth ideathon, you get some brownie points if you're empowering young people, and particularly women as well. One of the things we've been slightly disappointed with running the ideathon is that fewer women than men, almost half, have applied for the ideathon. There's more men or boys or youth guys that have applied for the ideathon as opposed to women. So we want to do some kind of women empowerment. To what extent does your idea then fit into this narrative? Of course, you won't be judged down if it doesn't do that, but you'll get some brownie points, and they're not as much or as high as, for instance, the commercial viability or potential impact. But these are some of the other things that we want to nudge people into thinking about. Sometimes you find that someone actually has an idea, and that idea has multi-sectoral collaboration aspects. It has the conservation, environmental aspect, and obviously focuses on, but because no one has told them about it, they don't highlight it. So that's a missed opportunity. That's why it's being highlighted here. So carrying on with the judging criteria, can I just check at this stage that my colleague Dixon is already on call? Yes, he is. So we can dig deep into the next session. If you do what I have just mentioned, you will be thrown into one of these three categories: advanced ideas, nascent ideas, and micro ideas. Now, all ideas are actually very important. In fact, it's possible that yours could be categorized as micro, partly because of the stage where you are. But working with us for maybe 3 or 4 months as part of the incubation, you might find that your idea has moved from what it was to somewhere that we consider that to be advanced. So what are advanced ideas? These are ideas that are already in motion. I know that some of you already have live projects going on. I know someone who's listening in actually, who has an app that focuses on beauty and things like that, and the app is already in motion. She already has an office that she opened up recently. She already has social media pages up. She's not sleeping. Some of you guys are already onto this seriously, and according to her, she thinks she's going to win. So these are the kind of ideas that we consider advanced. They are already in motion. They have the potential to scale and very fast, and they impact quite a number of people, could employ individuals almost immediately. These are the kind of ideas we consider to be advanced. Of course, you could be in this category because you're already in motion. It doesn't mean that your idea is good. So you might find that someone who we consider to be nascent, their idea is actually brilliant and they've won a grant. You haven't won a grant. So there's quite a number of other considerations to be made. But there's advanced ideas and nascent ideas. Nascent ideas are those ideas where the judges feel that these ideas are good and perhaps have potential to scale, but they might need some incubation support. So one of the things we're learning is that quite a number of you, obviously it's not your fault, you have not been in this entrepreneurship scale. After all, this is the Youth IDEAthon. It's just a brilliant idea, but you don't have a team already. It's the first time you're looking at like a value proposition canvas, and most of you have found it very helpful. It's the first time you're looking at the business model canvas. You did not know if we give you, for instance, $20,000 what are you going to do with it? You don't know where to start, things like that. So those are some of the ideas that we consider nascent. Brilliant ideas, potential to scale, but for which the judges think that this individual needs a hand. Then there are what we call micro ideas. These are ideas, everyone here has been on a learning curve, you know? So you might just have an idea, like this idea I told you about of bringing a cable from Entebbe to Kampala. Brilliant idea, I think. But to make it happen, there's a lot of work that has to go into it. You have to lobby government, you have to lobby local authority, you might get an investor from Dubai, just like we did our most expensive road here in Entebbe, the express. So you can get investors so that people pay to cross. So you can, there are quite a number of things. There's a lot of work that needs to be done with these micro ideas. And sometimes you could be in this category where eventually this idea doesn't make it, but along the way you learn a lot. You learn key entrepreneurial skills. So judges will throw ideas into each of these. It doesn't mean that if your idea is nascent, that you're not going to get a grant. No, these are our own internal categorizations. So pitching your idea, how do you pitch your idea? This is the point where you want to take a screenshot and keep this to yourself. But generally speaking, if you look on the left, if this was a normal pitching, and for those that make it into the finals, so what we're going to do, I'll explain the current discussions that are happening between NASE and the UNDP. Because of the number of ideas, we will deliver on the original promise, which was to identify the top 100 businesses and give them grants accordingly based on the different regions and everything like that. But lots of you have responded to this call, and some of you have fantastic ideas. We are not planning to leave you alone and abandon you, no. So we're in plans to make sure that we give you some incubation support, perhaps for a few months, and then maybe not even a few months, actually. There will be a bigger cohort that will then invite into potentially a second round of pitching, where you have to stand in front of judges and actually pitch in a format that we are still working on. Details are still not very clear, but this will not be the last one. But in case you make it to that level, prepare yourself, not just your idea. Your idea is not good enough. You need to be ready to pitch your idea. Think elevator pitch. So the elevator pitch comes from the elevator, which is a lift. You usually have about 3 minutes, give or take, to get to your destination, depending on how quickly the lift is moving. If you found, let's say, Bill Gates, and you wanted him to buy into your business, you really don't have too much time. You have about 2 minutes max before he actually leaves. What you want is to make sure that by the time he leaves, you're like, oh, hello, Bill Gates. My name is Dennis Oguma. Bang, 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 bang. So that by the time he gets to his floor, he's like, oh, that's a brilliant idea. Here's my card. Let's have a coffee. That's what they call an elevator pitch. So you need to break down your idea to that level where you can tell your idea to someone in 2 minutes, and they understand that this is the challenge that you're trying to solve, and this is your solution, in a very short, succinct way. To do that, you need to clearly outline the problem, preferably with a story, but a very short story. Let me give you an example. Sometimes you can say, like how it rains and the whole of Kampala floods and you're not able to move from point A to point B. I have a solution for that. I have designed A, B, C, D that does E, F, G. I need X, blah, 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 to make this happen. That's it. You're telling a story. You're using imagery. You're using imagination of this individual. No one, unless you've not lived in this Kampala of ours, does not appreciate what happens to traffic and everything else when it rains, the floods and everything like that. So it's an image that someone can relate with. It's a story that people can relate with. Humans love stories. So if you can use stories, that would be good. Crucially, have a very clear solution. Don't have a nebulous, ambiguous type of solution. Be very clear. And for you to have a clear solution, you need to have a clear target market. Back to the example I was giving you earlier about tourism. You cannot have a solution for retired people, for primary school people, for millennials, for corporates. No, they have clear target of a market. Of course, once you've nailed that particular market segment, you could add or pivot and have multiple, but when you're starting out, you can't serve everyone. You need to have a very clear target that you're starting with. Maybe wave number 2 or series 2, whatever, you can always increase. Keep your eye on your revenue or business model. Investors and other people love to see this. They want to see how are we making the money. Of course, the Youth IDEAthon, the grants that the UNDP is going to give have no strings attached, actually. It's not like they want shares in your business. Their only interest is to see you succeed and grow and scale and employ people and deal with this youth unemployment problem that we have. But the judges are not as generous. They want to see that there's a business that they are putting this, because this money comes from somewhere. Someone is putting this money on the table. They want to see that there is a business, a potential, viable business that they're supporting. So that's on the general side. But if you do that bare minimum, then you're good. But if you want to be in this particular category that we call advanced ideas, you need to capture the essentials. Shout about your success. I mentioned, I think it was yesterday, that much as we're expecting you to submit your value proposition canvas and the business model canvas, if you have other good stuff that you've already been doing, by all means, include it there. If you already have an Instagram page where you have 3,000 people following you, take a screenshot and add it there. If you already have been selling when you talk about revenue and expenditure, and you already have maybe a bank statement showing that, I don't know, but whatever good stuff has been happening, put it there. If you have a website already, put the link there. So you can add additional documents over and above these two that the judges can look at. Do not hesitate. If you are, let's say, in the creative space and you have some art and crafts that you've done, by all means share them. Shout about your success in whichever way possible. Consider how you're presenting your canvases, not just your idea. Yesterday, someone was talking about having multiple colors. And if you see the way I presented the business model canvas, the template I prefer to use is this one, because it very clearly helps you to identify the 3 different sections. This is the front end of your shop. This is the back end of your shop. This is all about the money. Very clear. as opposed to using plain white. So this other individual was saying that you can have different colors for different value proposition or different segments. I don't know, but consider how you're presenting your canvases. If you're using your canvas and you're writing it down, if your handwriting is as terrible as mine, and believe me, I have a terrible handwriting, is that what you really want to do? Or do you want to get your sister who has a better handwriting to help and write it out for you? Do you want to type it out? I don't know. Either way, it will be a great shame if you don't get the marks or the points that you deserve because of the way in which you presented your idea. So consider how you're presenting your idea, not just simply the idea. The idea itself is not good enough. You need to figure out a way of presenting it in such a way that you get all the juices out of this fantastic idea. And cover the details. What's the size of the market you're looking at? Your plan to attract and retain customers. Your plan to monetize, and again, goes back to this particular business model. Show the roadmap. If you give me, let's say, 40,000 US dollars or 100 million for that matter, regarding this IDEAthon, this is how I plan to use it. Phase 1, we'll develop a working prototype. Phase 2, test the market. Phase 3, blah, 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 blah. Practice your pitch. I always joke that get your granny to read your canvases. If your granny can understand your idea, no offense to grannies, but if your granny can understand your canvas and say clearly this is the problem you're trying to solve, oh, I get it now. Make it as simple as possible so that even the judges themselves don't spend too much time understanding what your idea is. If you can get to that level of depth and clarity and simplicity, you are home and dry. So I think I've covered quite as much as I had wanted to. I would like to wish you good luck. It's been an absolute pleasure working with you guys. I know I speak for not just NASE, but the UNDP, as well as some of the other support partners that we've had over the years, over the course of the Youth IDEAthon. And sincerely, all of us really wish you good luck. Some of the reasons, why we do this is to see you guys succeed. And succeed you will. And success does not mean just winning money. No, not all of you are going to win grants. I have to be frank and honest with you. But I'd like to think that along this way, from the master classes, from the thematic sessions, from the interactions you've had, that we've triggered something that is vibrating in your mind around what is possible out there, what you can do by just thinking about an idea and building around it. So I'm going to do a very short Q&A. Actually, it won't be a short Q&A. Maybe let me, at this point, first bring in my colleague, Dixon. Dixon, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Dennis. Thank you.
Fantastic. Good morning, Dixon. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. How are you doing?
Good. Two options. One, we can, I don't know whether you want to have a presentation that you can make to these guys in terms of how they can upload their canvases, because quite a number of them have come back several times saying they are struggling, they're having IT issues, and so on and so forth. I know that you've done as much as possible to make the system as simple as possible. But of course, people use phones, others use laptops, others the internet is slow. So even before you hit send, something happens. So if you do not mind, it would be great if you could go through very quickly, take someone through the journey of logging into the platform and where to upload and how to upload. Yesterday, I suggested that they should, if possible, upload all their stuff in PDF. But of course, if they're not able to, if they have a PowerPoint, we will accept it. If they have a Microsoft Word document, because some of them have been asking for the Microsoft Word document type of template so that they can complete it, we'll take that one. Some of them can write down somewhere and take a picture of their canvas. We'll accept everything, but preferably if they could do it in a canvas. So this was the non-IT Dennis Aguma speaking. So can I hand over to you? But before I do that, I would love to just see from the chat box, our friend, the chat box. Please, could you type in the chat just so that I know the feel, I get an idea of how the session went with regards to pitching. Are you now wiser about what we expect to see in your value proposition canvases? If you have a question, please use a Q&A facility. But I would love to see what's, yeah, someone is saying, wonderful session, great, good to go, love it, awesome, yes, more wiser, fantastic, Mr. Aguma. Yes, 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 very good, wonderful. I love to see. Someone is saying much wiser. I think that's a key word that you're now able. Someone is saying this is fantastic. It's going to win the 100 million after this. Very helpful, incredible. These are flattering words. I'm really grateful. If I have an opportunity, I might. So 2-minute text messages, but clearly very good session. So I'd like to hand over at this stage to my friend Dixon Mushabe to deal with the IT side of things. And once he is done, then we will come back and do the Q&A. But in the meantime, if I could ask my colleagues to please rank the questions so that when I come to look at them, we know which ones to deal with first. And of course, my colleagues from NASE, as well as the UNDP, if you're able to answer some of the questions, go ahead and answer them. I know that you've already answered like 14. So Dixon, over to you. You have maybe about 30 minutes, and then you and I can have another interaction. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Dennis, and good morning, participants and applicants. Good morning, team. I hope you are well. Mine is simple, and mine is to just help you get familiar with the system, answer the questions that have been disturbing you, have been disturbing your head in as far as working with this system is concerned. And we've tried to make it as simple as possible. Those who don't know me, I'm Dixon Mushabe, and I work with Hostelite. We provided this platform in partnership with NASE. So now what I'm going to take you through, and I'm going to share my screen shortly, is the challenges you've been facing in accessing, in updating and uploading your documents. To give you a background of the system, so that you all know why we did this, is one, this system lies 100% on efficiency and transparency. We want the right idea to win, not because the judge knows your name, not because the judge knows your phone number. No, actually, for your information, as we give the judges, we are going to give coordinates. They are not going to see your names. They are not going to see your emails. It's purely for transparency purposes that you'll be able to get the idea which must win. So you'll be getting notifications in your emails, and I'm going to share my screen shortly. But I would like to rest all the fears. This is the first time this is happening. The transparency bit is happening. So I'd like you to just sit down, work on your idea, knowing it is fully protected, knowing it is fully protected by the system, and the right idea is the one which should win as far as the system is concerned. Maybe also take you a bit far back. You remember you applied the real first application, and we opened up a system for editing. Now we have your first application. It's archived somewhere, because we want to get your journey. What was your journey like? What was your first idea like? And how did you transit to a better idea after the master classes, after all these sessions? So we need to be we need to see your journey from the first step to the real last step, and in that it will help inform of how you've learned and how you became with a small idea, and right now through the master classes and through all these sessions, you have actually a grand idea which can win. Even if it doesn't win in this very cohort, someone says I'm a bit low. I don't know if I need to push this further, but if you're in this cohort, want to see how you've been able to grow from the smallest idea to how you've been able to add to build it up to today. So let me just share my screen and I just take you through the simplest of the systems that we've developed for you to use. If you see my screen, confirm that you can see my screen. Can you see my screen, please? Dennis?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay, okay, great. And I'm very sure all of the participants have seen this screen, this login page. This is just this is a testing. This is a testing site that we put for me to make sure I do for you a demo. And once you log in, we used to have challenges of people who were unable to log in. Please, if you're unable to log in, that means you can either request a reset password, or you send an email, or as you send an email that you cannot, then the system will send you a new link for you to activate, because we want you to activate your emails. And of course, on activating, that means you set in your own secure password, meaning no other person can log on as you. You don't want a situation where someone sets for your password and sends it to you. No, one send you a link, you activate it, so that it's only you and only you who has that password. Okay, now I've logged in, and this I'm going to it's just, I think, one applicant, and I'm going to quickly go to. So all you need on this is you go to grant management, and you'll see your application. You click on that application. This is a sample name, Brenda Nambuya. Okay, you click on your application as Brenda Nambuya, for example, email address. Then you have your idea here. I remember I told you we kept the first version of your idea. So now we have your first idea and the changes you've made, and this is for really to see how you've been able to grow, because in this it's not about winning, but it's about growing your business. So we want to track your whole record. So if you want to change your idea, you click on edit. You click on edit, and you make maybe you've got a new thing you want to add. You click on edit and add and save. And we've shredded it down and made it as simple as possible, because we know some of us use phones, some of us use the connectivity might not be very good where we are. So we've toned it down. You won't find too much clutter on this page. And now the biggest question I've been seeing is we are unable to upload our business model canvas attachments. This is the right hand side is where everything happens. After you've saved, the right hand side is where everything happens. You can send a message. You can now this message right now goes to administrator, but essentially it will be going to NASE. After we've assigned you your judges, it will be going to your judge or mentor. Maybe I can say good morning. Now once this is sent, the person, your judge or mentor, will receive a notification in their email that Brenda Nambuya or Dixon Mashavi has sent you a message on the system. So can you please log in and see what they have sent? Initially, you would get a system. Okay, the system will not send Brenda Nambuya's email. No, system will send a notification from NASE, from maybe info@nase.co.ug. That's Brenda Nambuya, dear Judge Dixon, or dear Judge whoever. Also, dear mentor, Brenda Nambuya has sent has sent you an email, a notification on the system. Please log in and see. So the system will not send an email from Brenda Nambuya and her email. No, we are hiding the applicant's emails. We are hiding the applicant's phone numbers. We are hiding the applicant's names. We just the system. The judge will receive your ID. Your user ID may be NASE and your number. Receive your user ID. That's all, by the way. So that we want to keep it as transparent as transparent as possible. So about 3,000 plus applications. So those are about 3,000 unique identifiers. And want to eliminate the fact that maybe your auntie is a judge, or whatever is or is a mentor. All that has been eliminated. No one will get to know your name or where you're applying or your email. So what attachments? There is, just look at this right hand side. This is all you need. I don't know why some of you are failing to add attachments, but when you click here, let me see NASE test. I think I have a small testing NASE. I think I have this. Should be a Word document. This is testing NASE. Let me see. I had a PDF. So I want maybe you can put in the comments area what has been your challenge in uploading, and what error do you get? And when you get an error, please, I request you to create a screenshot. And let me see, testing NASE.pdf. I think I have this. Yeah. So I'm just attaching. I'm just attaching a document. So when you select a document, automatically it attaches itself. So I want to find out if you can post in the chat what challenges have you been facing while uploading documents, because it's as simple as this. You can add an attachment, another, and another. You can log a note, an internal note for you to remember, maybe a reminder to do this, then you either log it with an attachment or maybe an emoji, and you log it for your reminding purposes, then sending a message I've given it to you. Then there is chat. You can chat with your mentor. You can chat with your mentor or judge. Maybe you could say, I have just finished uploading my business model canvas. And this is your mentor. You're in touch, in direct chat, direct contact with them, and telling them how you finished uploading your business model canvas. So I want to know what challenges you've been really facing, because this mentor is going to receive your chat and respond to you. So what challenges have you been facing in uploading? It's as simple as this. Your business model canvas is here, and you see we are logging all this activity.
Jason, there's some
Yes.
comments in the chat regarding that question.
Yes, please. You want to read them for me?
Yeah, sure. The challenge initially first was with the browser. So this one is Rita Nagudi, says it was with the browser, Microsoft Edge, but when he used Chrome, he was able to access. Most of the others seem to have issues with attaching an image and also using a phone interface, because it's a bit difficult. So if you could respond to those two,
using
attaching an image and using the phone interface.
Okay, attaching an image. What
and one other one?
How big? Yes.
Sorry, one other one. Acheng Deborah. Maybe if colleagues could take note of this. Says, sir, my challenge is my account shows I'm a mentor or coach. How can I fix this? I'm not sure about that, but if my colleagues could take note of this, Ivy or Brenda, or miracle for that matter. Take note of this so that we can look into it. Acheng Deborah.
She says her application shows that she's
My challenge is that my account shows I'm a mentor / coach. How can I fix this?
mentor / coach.
Hmm.
We're going to look into that account. No, does it show somewhere the word applicant also?
I don't know.
There's something which is ticked, because you could see mentor or judge, but it's applicant which is ticked. The rest are just blank because it's all in one system. So the judge, or if you judge, your judge, or there will be a tick in front of your name. If you're a mentor, there will be a tick. If you're an applicant, there will be a tick. The rest will be blank. So reading them doesn't mean you're a mentor or a judge.
Okay.
I suspect that's the issue. Yeah.
Okay, we'll ask Deborah Acheng to confirm that. In the meantime, if you can just confirm the phone and the picture.
No, I've just added the picture. It's here.
Okay,
it's
good.
NASE logo. It's an image.
Then the other one was, how do they know that that their attachments have actually gone once? Well, because once they've sent, they kind of almost they sit there. So what they're saying, how do they know that they have been sent?
Okay, I want to understand what do they mean by that attachments have been sent? You see the attachments, they are here. There's nothing like say they are here. You'll see them even when you log in tomorrow. Where I'm pointing on the right hand side. So they are not sending them an email. You must see your attachments here because you've attached them as I have done here.
So
if you log in and you don't see them, you must attach again. Yes.
Nicola Priska Lawino is saying, how do I know if my attachment has been uploaded? Because unlike your interface, we do not get to see the uploaded files after they load. Should we just assume that they have reached their destination?
Okay, are they using a phone or any of course? I don't know if can they chat? Can they send? Because they can now send chats with the NASE administrator. Can they initiate a chat right now so that someone on the NASE support team can attend to them? Because I've not heard many people complain about that. Maybe it could be a long case, but something we can definitely look into.
Okay.
Because,
then the next one.
But again, do we have other applicants who have seen what I'm seeing? Dennis.
Yes.
I have a question also. Can we ask applicants if there are those who have seen what I'm seeing now? Is this the first time everyone is seeing this, or those who have uploaded have also seen this before?
Maybe if we could ask the participants to mention in the chat box whether they've been, actually quite a number say that they've already uploaded and they can see. If you've actually uploaded something, please say yes or no. Someone is mentioning that anything above 1 MB doesn't seem to be uploaded. Can you look into that?
Okay, we'll increase, but also we need to optimize the system. You don't want to upload 20 GBs. So we'll optimize. We need to optimize the system. Maybe we're going to increase the size for now. So we're going to increase the size for the upload.
Because someone is saying that they wanted to upload a video. What is the maximum size? We really want to keep it simple, so we don't want someone uploading a series of the Dragon's Den here.
Yes.
I think first things first. Just upload the canvases first.
And I think Dennis, let's encourage participants to open YouTube channels, so that instead of uploading a full video, you put it on the YouTube channel and upload a link to YouTube channel with a nice description. Dear team, or judge, or mentor, here is a link to my YouTube channel. And what that helps you in your journey as a business, you start having views, you start having subscriptions on your YouTube channel. Actually, I would expect most participants now to start having even new YouTube channels. because the video speaks millions, you know, to your mentors, to your funders, to your business partners. Yeah.
Actually,
So
the
YouTube
original
bottom line,
plan
I would
was,
advise that you.
yeah, the original plan was to actually
Go ahead.
get everyone to pitch their idea in a video format of less than 2 minutes. We're still exploring those options for the next wave. But I agree with you that rather than upload the entire video on this platform, if they have a link that they could upload, that would be better. I think a link would probably be like in a document or something, a Microsoft Word document, so that the link is there. They can, or can they actually upload a link on the platform?
You see on this chart. On this message, you can type anything.
Okay.
You can type anything and even put a link, an attachment, everything. So it's possible here.
And then, did you mention the phone interface?
Sorry?
Did you mention the phone interface? Should it matter? Can the user experience be different if they're using a phone or not?
Yes, the user experience is going to change because the phone rearranges. This system is mobile friendly. It arranges itself according to the size of your phone or your tablet. So what happens is when you use a tablet, you realize that some things are even disappear and you remain with those which are critical. So you will still see this, but it might be not be on the right hand side. It might be down. It might be down. So the phone, everything remains the same apart from the display. But you must be able to see these things. You must be able to see what you've uploaded. If you cannot see them, please send a chat because we have people in support on those chats waiting to respond to you. And as you can see, I think Brenda sent a chat, administrator, NASE, and let me see.
While you're doing that, someone is asking Ian.
As you can see, this is real-time chat, and the administrator has done what? Has replied, has responded to Brenda. So make use of these chats, even if a chat takes maybe an hour or two to be responded to, but at least you've logged it. And the beauty is the system keeps each and every activity which happens in here. Basically, your entire life cycle, your entire life of this application is here. Your discussion with the mentors, your chats with mentors, everything is here, and we do this for transparency and accountability largely.
Thank you. Ian Wuzire is asking, can we combine the VPC and the BMC and submit it once? Yes, you can do that. Engineer Hans John Wilson Washija Mwesikwa is saying to the panelists and attendees, can Dixon kindly raise his voice or volume? I think he has tried.
I've tried.
I think he has tried.
How about now?
This is worse.
It's worse.
Actually, before was better.
Okay.
Before was better.
All right.
But I understand there's been there've been terrible network issues across quite a number. Okay. The other one is asking, how do I?
But I hope I've been able to. How do I what?
Someone is asking, how do I transfer my PDF file from Microsoft Word to my account? I think Google will be your best friend, or YouTube. There's usually loads of pictures or videos.
No. Repeat the question, Dennis. Repeat the question, please.
This one is asking, how do I transfer my PDF file from Microsoft Word to my account? So he wants to convert his Microsoft Word to PDF so that he can upload. I think you go to Save As, and then go to PDF somewhere at the bottom.
Yes. Yes, or you can even do
3 days ago, but it is not in my attachment list. I used the computer. This is Isaac Sechiranda. Can I ask Brenda or Ivy or someone on our team, Miracle, for instance, in real time to check Isaac Sechiranda's account and confirm whether or not the attachment is on that list?
Is he saying he cannot see it?
It's not in his attachment list. So like on the bottom right, he can't see it. So maybe he didn't actually attach eventually. I don't know. But colleagues are going to confirm that.
And by the way, participants, by the time you close this, you must if you don't see your attachment here, don't close. Either attach it again. Maybe your connectivity is low, but at least don't leave without seeing this. Even if you refresh, you should be able to see your attachment here.
Okay, Chiwate Arafat is saying that they did not receive the attachments of the BMC and VPC. I'm not sure what we can do with this particular one, because I know that colleagues did send an email with links and attachments or something like that. But again, that's another issue for my colleagues, Brenda, Ivy, and Miracle to look into. Solimo Rajab, that's true. I'm using a laptop to upload, but I don't see my attachments after. So this is the second person. They have uploaded, but they're not seeing the attachment. This one is Solimo Rajab.
Is it a Word or a PDF? Let them send a chat. Let them send a chat to the administrator right now. So what we can track. We can even track this, because it's important to track a problem and how we've solved it.
Alan Kasira is saying, I personally have found this platform easy, friendly, no challenge at all. So clearly it's a mixed feeling. The other one, Lucky Brand is saying that I think even before filling, we need to learn how it works and then fill or upload our information, which is what Dixon was doing. And this was done by the NASE team. Attachments don't show, but they're there, I'm sure. This is another person, Lucky Brand, who's saying that the attachments don't show. Maybe could it be something to do with the settings? Dixon? Also, Acheng is also saying that it doesn't show.
We are going to let them drop in chats, because those chats are what we shall use to follow up. Just drop a chat, and we shall use it to reply you.
Okay. Maybe the message here is for every participant. Once you've uploaded, and you could actually, can they delete something once they've uploaded it, Dixon?
Yes, you can remove an attachment. Yes.
So
you can remove an attachment if you.
I was going to suggest that they upload something, if nothing else, to test, which they can always delete, and then send that message to the administrator asking to confirm whether or not, and then we'll be able to see the trail. Because some people are saying it's very easy to use, others are saying that they can't see anything. So it's very important that we know. So I think the message today is upload something and send a message for the admin to confirm whether or not they have received it. We have tested this system rigorously, and on all occasions, it has actually worked. But if I go down, yes, we have seen that before, seen, my system is okay. To me, I have seen, I did, I have seen, we have seen. So quite a number of people have no issue with this. But there are some people who are having issues, clearly. I think those people having issues are using kind of minimal phones. This is someone, Oscar Weir, saying. They kind of disturb. Strong phones and PCs play in well. Well, we're not all at the same level of technical sophistication, so I can understand that. Thank you, Dixon. By the way,
must be able to cater for the.
Yes, in another world, we would have encouraged people to come to our different centers in the different regions with this particular document, and maybe we would upload it for them. There is also an option, worst case scenario, to send an email so that someone can upload it for you if you send it to info. But the problem with that is that the email will be clogged with all sorts of things, and people will be sending canvases at the last minute claiming that the system failed and so on. So do not wait for midnight tomorrow. Try and upload your stuff by close of play today. If you're able to, send a message for follow-up for someone to confirm that they've received it, and at least you have evidence to that effect. If you're not able to do that tonight, do that tomorrow morning. Worst case, in the afternoon. Do not leave it too late. Just going through the messages. Dixon Mushabe, thank you for showing the interface on mobile Firefox, has a responsive design mode in the developer options that you can use. Momanye Timothy is a very clearly very technical person. He's talking developer modes and things like that. Lots of messages. I think what I should do at this stage as well is to ask my colleagues to keep an eye on the video messages, so that if there are any key things Dixon and myself have missed out, we can pick them up. Lynette Naziwa is saying, good morning, thanks NASE and UNDP. Please re-highlight what exactly should not miss out in the PDF to be handed minus a VPC and BMC. I think those are the two key things. Attach your BMC, attach your VPC, and you can throw in everything else that you think is important. Obviously, don't clog the system. Don't download Rambo 3 and upload it. The system will crash, which is actually what happened, I think, yesterday.
Yes.
Quite a very funny group of young people attempted to test the system to its absolute maximum. But yeah, maybe if I look at other messages. Okay, let me leave the messages at this stage. Dixon, if you can stay on the line, assuming that you have done the vast majority of the work, let's go through the questions, the Q&A. I have asked colleagues to rank the questions, so I'm going to go through them one by one. And so question number one is being asked by Aloysius Sendegea. Good morning, Mr. Guma. Still seeking clarity on the pricing. Is it 100 million, 100 businesses, implying 100 ideas will be supported with grants, or a single idea will be supported? Very good question, this one. In the initial round, 100 businesses are going to be supported. And of those businesses, one of them is going to get 100 million shillings. And then that price will keep reducing up to a certain level. Not all the 100, for instance, will get all the grants. But those discussions are still happening in terms of the matrix. But there will be 100 businesses supported with grants, mentorship support, and very many other things. But not all of them, sorry, I beg your pardon, not all of them are going to get the 100 million shillings. One of them will get 100 million shillings. The next one will get less, the next one will get less. We're also giving grants based on different idea categories. So there will be someone who will win grants in tourism, the best idea in manufacturing, the best idea in health. They'll all win grants. It won't be the 100, but there will be smaller grants. The 100 is the overall winner. Then there will also be regional winners. In the different regions, there will be people who will have won grants in the different regions. What we don't want is a situation where Kampala cleans up, or Gulu City for that matter, cleans up all the awards and people in Barara are complaining, or Kabale for that matter. So there's going to be a spread of the grants. The grant pot is actually generous, but the first round may not seem as generous as potentially the second round, because we're looking at more than 100 businesses. As I said, those discussions are still ongoing to see how many other businesses will be given grants. Otim James from Soroti campus. How many participants will be funded? Could it be 100 participants or one person only taking the one? I've just answered this one. And again, we say one person, but it may not be one person. It might be that Dixon Mushabe submitted an idea on behalf of Hostelite, and that idea has won 100. It doesn't mean that Otim James is the winner per se, but that particular business idea has won 100. We have some individuals that have submitted ideas through one person, where there's like 6 other people involved. So it will be the group really, not just the individual that submitted the idea. Okwil Dennis, Mr. Guma, can we tag the price for what we need in the cost structure? Yes, you can. Abasa Oscar, in BMC and VPC, where can you insert something to do with advertisement on social media? You can't do that in the VPC and the BMC. However, we've just been going through the attachment options that Dixon was talking about. You could take a screenshot and attach a picture of that so that the judges can see that. Where is Samson Bruno? Are there going to be winners according to the categories? Yes, I've just highlighted that. But of course, there will still be the finalists for that. Should I attach costs to my structure or listing it without cost tags? I don't know whether you actually mean the actual figures. Should I attach costs to my cost structure? Maybe not, because you're now talking having a proper business plan, profit, loss, balance sheet, that kind of stuff. You don't want that. You want to have some level of simplicity where you're saying my cost structure includes rent, equipment, or things like that. That's what we want to see more than anything else. Abasa Oscar, again, I have a passion in supplying eggs. Who could be my potential customer segments? Eggs of local breeds in markets. Who could be my, you're asking me to do a business model canvas, Abasa. So go back to the videos and watch them and do your canvas yourself. Kabuye Joshua, kindly elaborate on how we can present the VPC competitively. Really, if I'm looking at the value proposition canvas, I'm looking at the clarity regarding the problem that you're trying to solve. I want to see clarity, that you're very clear of who this particular customer segment is. Sometimes it's advisable to have a persona, to have like an individual and say, my product is for Dennis Aguma. Dennis is a 21-year-old Ugandan from Kabale doing engineering at Makerere University. During the holidays, because he comes from Kabale, he has nowhere to stay in Kampala and has no relative in Kampala. Usually, he has to run around or maybe go from friend to friend, and it's a bit embarrassing. We have designed or identified appropriate accommodation, cheap accommodation, blah, blah. I don't know, but be very clear about the challenge that you're trying to solve, the segment for whom it is targeting, and the appropriateness of your solution. Those are the kind of things I want to see: simplicity, focus, clarity. Muganzi David, explain more about filling the value proposition canvas. Again, there is a video for that. If I could ask my colleagues to please share the video from day 2 about the value proposition canvas. Even yesterday's session also covered aspects of that. Mumanye Timothy is asking, on the key partners, is it okay to list partners that you have not yet reached out to, but could potentially? Yes, because they are key partners. You don't actually only need to list the ones that you've been working with. You can list the ones that you think are going to be key partners. And part of our incubation support might be to open some of those doors for you. So for instance, you might think that you need an incubation center to help you. For instance, I was very privileged to have a tour of Yuri. Professor Charles Kwesiga took me on a tour in Yuri in Namave. They have over $30 million worth of equipment, state-of-the-art equipment. You can do virtually everything. This cup, you can make it from there. You don't have to import from China. This glass, they are that thorough and detailed. So you might want access to those kind of incubation partners, or your thing might be in agriculture, and we're already in talks with NARO and others. So do list the key partners that you think you need, and that's how we're going to know how to help you. Is it possible to take down a document in case you wanted to remove that particular document? Yeah, Dixon has confirmed that you can actually delete it, but please do not delete it tomorrow at 11:58 so that you try to upload it after. It is better that you upload what you want to upload fast, and then you can go back and delete the one that you do not want to upload. Rose Nakanwaji, good morning. Is it one single win or shared? Not sure what you mean. If you're one team, then you share. It's a business idea that wins, not the individual. Of course, the individual could be the one with the idea, or a group could be the one with the idea. It all depends. Robert Mayanja, hello, Mr. Aguma. I kindly still need slightly more light on customer relations under the business model canvas. Again, there's a video for that. If I could ask Ivy or Jimmy or Brenda or Miracle, someone on my team, please post those links in the video. Maybe while I still have all you guys on our YouTube channel, please click subscribe so that you do not miss everything else that we have prepared for you. Is it coming from direct sales? Is it coming from, those are the kind of things we want to see. But of course, if your if your business idea has like one direct stream and there's only one figure that you can throw in there, then go ahead. But it's not what we're looking for. It's not a business plan. It's a business model canvas. It's a business model. It's explaining how you're going to make money, not how much money you're going to make. Pius Atwao. Hello, Dennis. Kindly pardon on customer relations and channels. I am not getting the difference clearly. Again, it's not fair on those that attended yesterday, but there's also videos that you can actually look at on YouTube for that. To try and attempt to go back through the whole sessions, we'll spend the whole day here. There's almost 500 people. It would not be fair on them. Please throw more light on cost structures. I've done that. Cost structures are the various cost structures. Do you have are you going to build the building? So that might be one route. Are you going to hire staff? Are you going to, so we're looking at the model. Where is the money going to be spent? Not necessarily how much, but where is the money going to be spent? Oscar Wire, good morning. Wire, by the way, has been very active. Oscar Wire has been one of the most active, even in the chat groups. He asks lots of questions. I hope your idea is as brilliant as you have been throughout this session. Good morning, the next team. I really appreciate you for the great work done for skilling me and boosting my business. Oh, you're most welcome, Oscar. You've been, I've seen your engagement, very passionate. Could I ask my colleagues to carry on helping me to rank the questions? At some point I had about 10 thumbs up, or maybe the other questions are not worth ranking, I don't know. But it would be very helpful for me to go through them if they are ranked. Hello, Dennis, please clarify for us about the grants to be won. Once again, you're competing for 100 million. No, not all of you are competing. Someone out there will take to their bank, preferably 100 million, and the other grants will cascade all the way down until the pot is exhausted. But as I mentioned before, we are already in discussion with quite a number of partners, not least of whom is the UNDP, but others whom I'm not able to share at this stage. It is looking likely that we'll be giving more grants than the ones that were initially intended. But first things first, we need to deliver on what we promised. And there will be another cohort, including these 100, where you'll be invited to pitch your idea in potentially a TV format of some sort, where you actually stand in front of the judges and pitch this particular idea. And we hope that by that time, it won't just be the canvases. It will be, yes, the canvas is there, but it's a progression of this particular idea. So this is not it, even after the 31st of August, once we've done the final. There will be, some of you guys will be invited again. And I would not be surprised if someone that does not make it into the 100, I've seen this happen with Dwayne and Kingston in London, where some people may not make the 100, but if they are part of the 200 cohort or 300 or 400 or 500 that are invited back to work on their ideas, we have instructed the judges to give you some feedback. Someone might actually act on the feedback, and when it comes to pitching for the second time round, the idea has moved miles and ends up winning actually, even though they weren't in the 100. Because remember, the 100 is a breakdown of the different sectors, of the different regions. So you may just fall short, just short of winning some significant amount. But once the door has been opened and you get another shot at it, you'll be wiser, you'll be smarter, and you can actually nail this. Some other people are very good at public speaking, so they might actually convince the judges purely based on their ability to explain the point as opposed to looking at paper. So this is not the end of it all. The journey has just begun. Buganzi David, should we create a PowerPoint presentation explaining the judging criteria? The judging criteria is available online. And again, at this point, if I could ask my colleagues to please type it in the chat room so that participants can actually see this particular judging criteria. If I could ask, yeah, I see Ivy has put the sessions. Please do drop in the judging criteria as well. But the judging criteria is available on the website, undp.nase.co.ug. Good morning, Mr. Aguma. Good session, and but looks like the judgment is favoring a particular side of the businesses. I am not sure that I agree, but I can understand where you're coming from. And I think you probably are meaning businesses that are supporting maybe the environment or female or youth or things like that. Those marks that I was talking about, those additional points are actually not very heavy. They constitute less than about 8% of the mark, of the overall mark. So I would not worry too much about it. Focus on the main ones, the main judging criteria. On goal, Henry, please clarify more on the cost structure. Again, Google, YouTube, or go back to the sessions which my colleagues are sharing right now in the chat room. Ivy or my other colleagues, you're welcome to share this countless times so that in case someone misses, because the chat room can get very busy. Agasha Lynette, do I have to pick one customer segment from our VPC, or can you have 2 or 3 segments for the different VPCs? You can have multiple. We said this the other day. You can have multiple, but it can get messy because the solution for each VPC, for each customer segment is going to be different. But you can use color coding to separate it. I don't know. It can get messy, but I'll leave that in your capable judgment. To Lillian, thank you, Dennis. I would like to be guided on how to upload using a phone. I think Dixon went through that, if I'm not mistaken. Dixon, you went through this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, Mulenzi Tony, can the pitch be in video format? What will be the length of the limit? No, the pitch has to be in a canvas. And the canvas has to be the value proposition canvas formats that we sent you, or the business model canvas, both of which we sent you. You can upload them in Word, you can upload them in PDF, preferably PDF. You can combine the two so that you have 2 sheets and 1 document submitted. Shiri Kugwe. Natasha Twebaze, will we be able to receive feedback of our ideas? Yes. Ideas not win, or even if we win, yes, you will receive ideas. And you will have access to the platform because you're embarking on a journey with us. The discussions we're having again with our partners are that we should give incubation support for you guys, regardless of whether or not you will have won, so that we can give you a helping hand out of the way. But those discussions are still ongoing, so do not quote me on that one. But yeah, we will support you along the way. Zaki Joshua, I need a little explanation on the customer relations. Again, same answer. Please go back to the session from yesterday and yesterday but one. Mulumba Tony, shall we be able to still access our accounts? Yes, you will. You will still be able. As I said, maybe this is for the benefit of my colleagues at the UNDP to take note of the hunger and desire for these participants to want to have some element of continuity even after the IDEAthon, so that they can have access to the platform, have access to their ideas, perhaps continue to work on their ideas, maybe with some feedback from mentors and things like that. So yes. Ernest Jamsha, can you help us with how it's done on the phone? Again, Dixon has already answered that. Namara Samuel, I do not have an account at all, so I cannot log in. Seems like I missed out on some information prior to the masterclasses. Namara, if you do not have an account, it suggests that you missed the deadline. In which case, I wonder how you made it onto this call. Maybe something for colleagues to look into. Please make note of Namara Samuel. My suspicion is that you probably didn't register before the deadline.
Dennis, just
yes.
I think Namara Samuel, because in the next message they say my token expired before I activated the account for the portal. So now she's going to receive, he or she's going to receive he's going to receive a new token which you should activate immediately.
Okay.
So let them check their email in the next hour. It will be there.
Good.
And maybe Ivy and the people in the support team can do that.
Good. I like the real-time effectiveness. Bwango Issa, what happens with our accounts after NASE and the winner has been got? Does NASE deactivate the accounts? You never talked about privacy regarding our accounts, and the NASE will use our information, name, etc., blah, blah, blah. Very good observation. Again, very helpful information for colleagues and partners from the UNDP of these guys' desire to continue using the platform as part of this. So one of the things that you may have disregarded is a disclaimer on the website when you initially registered. You know what they say about that small print? All this information is there. But one of the things we are very passionate about is data and security of individuals' data. So it is our intention really to keep privacy of your data or some of the ideas that have intellectual property in them. They will be receiving support to secure that to some extent. One of the key things about data protection is that you must keep data for just as long as you need it. This program for this particular cohort is supposed to end in December. So we'll keep hold of this data up until December, most definitely, unless of course people stay on our incubation program for longer. Data must be used for the purpose for which it was intended. In this case, this was a competition. So you will not find us using this data in formats that is not necessary. But the small print on the website has all this information as to how your data is going to be used and so on and so forth. But suffice to say, NASE, one of the things that everyone who has worked with us up until now will realize, and that's the reason we went into the effort of developing this kind of platform. Security is at the center of it. It's a very robust system with APIs in the background. This is the kind of stuff that has interfaces with banks and financial institutions, so it's quite secure. So I do take on board your concerns, but rest assured, we've got this covered. Agre Kagwa, thanks, Mr. Guma. What if my idea is just at the seed level? How do I pitch it in the form of a video? Again, we said this first stage is canvas. Most of you who make the final will be invited to pitch live in front of an audience of judges and potentially other people, depending on how the lockdown will have played out. So that will be an opportunity for you to do. But until then, value proposition canvas, business model canvas. How safe are attachments when being accessed by the judges? We mentioned this, Dixon highlighted this, saying that the judges actually won't even be able to see your name, your telephone number, or email address. They'll just see the idea. And judges will only see ideas of the individuals for whom they have been assigned. But if I remember very well, Dwayne Reed was saying that it's almost like an insult when someone suggests, and I'm not suggesting that this is what is happening here, that somehow these caliber of individuals that we put together as judges are interested in stealing your business ideas. No, some of these guys, and that list is available for our partners to audit, have a reputation to protect, and things like that. But we're also very particular about data security and all this kind of stuff. So I wouldn't worry too much about it, but I share your concern. I make note of it. Mayinja Bo, how can we show that we're tackling the judging criteria in the BMC and VPC? It's a very good question, but for which I cannot give you a possible answer. The judging criteria is there for you to use as, that information is for you to use as you please. If, for instance, we're talking about scalability or business model of your idea, then you should focus really on the revenue streams, how are you going to make money, those kind of things. I don't know, but the judging criteria is there for you to see. So some aspects like the ones that get you additional points, things to do with maybe environmental aspects and things like that, it would be important that you cover some of those aspects, you cover them. But if you find that there are other things that you could not have put in the business model canvas, it does not hurt you to have an extra A4 piece of paper, perhaps on Microsoft Word, and attach it there, you know, as additional information. Anita Owumjisha is saying that the video for yesterday is not on YouTube. I will leave my colleagues to deal with that one, but that has been duly noted. So Albert, Peter, Ivy, Miracle, please look into this one. Raphael Otaya, good morning today again. Hey, quick question. I have a main idea on info and communication, which gives birth to another in agriculture. I have made 2 VPCs, but thought I could make 1 VPC for both. Is it okay, or it would cost me some marks or even clarity? Very good question, Raphael. It all depends on the category you're in. If you're in the category of agriculture, for instance, then it would make sense. It should not matter that there's an IT solution for an agriculture problem. So I don't know. I think better stick to doing one value proposition canvas, and how you separate those two, I have no idea how you're going to do that. But maybe you can use different color coding. I don't know. I honestly cannot possibly figure out, but you will figure this one out. Stick to the category in which you are. In this case, I suggest or suspect it's agriculture. So the judges who will be assigned to you will have some element of agriculture in them, so they should be able to see where you're coming from. So we have another 18 minutes to go through this. Good morning. Is it possible to have 2 customer segments on BBC? Yes, we said yes. Alan is saying, which category of ideas gets you grants? Any category. I sent an email, though no response. I'm worried I have not been in a stable area, was in deep village past few weeks. I guess I missed a lot. I will be dropped out from the program. This is Kanyihamba George. Is this the George Kanyihamba, the justice? Probably not. You can send an email, but there's been groups, there's been chats where you can go back and relive. And that's really one of the reasons we have a YouTube channel, so that you can go back and feed up on all the content that we've done up until now. But don't give up. It's not too late. Okay, maybe I should use the next few minutes to take some questions from attendees whose hands are up. Let's start with Judith Adeke. Judith Adeke, you're allowed to talk. Judith Adeke, unmute yourself and speak.
I was asking, is it okay to use a literature review as you're doing the word, because sometimes you fail to get the customers. So can I use a literature review?
Okay. Judith is probably from the world of academia. It depends really on how you want to present your idea. It depends on what the idea is. So some ideas will lend themselves very nicely to a canvas. Some other ideas will lend themselves nicely to a wordy situation. Some ideas will lend themselves nicely to a prototype. So I'm afraid I can't give you a very detailed answer, but my understanding of literature review is that you've looked at this existing body of knowledge, so and so said this, so and so said this, there's a gap in this area that unless of course you mean that you want to attach as part of the evidence that you're submitting in support of your canvases, some literature review. Now, I'm a lecturer myself and I'm a researcher. How many academic papers are you going to attach? How many, because some of them can be long, like 20 pages. The judges don't have that much time to read your literature review. They want you to summarize whatever you have read in your literature review and put it in the canvases. Next one is Mbulamaye Arajabu. Mbulamaye Arajabu, you're allowed to speak. Unmute yourself and speak. Arajabu, permitted to speak. Okay, next is Asimwe Benjamin. Asimwe Benjamin, you're allowed to speak.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Well, I had everything explained, and I had the BMC and the PVC explained in my own understanding that I think would best explain my idea, but they are embedded within the business proposal, and it is what I attached. So whereas someone is scrolling down, maybe they can have a look at the graphics that are within the text. So I found it hard to merge my idea within the sample of the BMC and PVC that you projected. So I don't know whether I may specifically need to use your samples, or it is well I can go on with my creativity. Thanks.
Thank you very much. We chose the value proposition canvas and the business model canvas deliberately. We wanted to keep it as simple as possible. And that standard has been set for everyone, all the 4,800 plus ideas. It would not be fair to deviate from that. But there will be opportunities if you make it to the next round when we're doing this live sessions. It would be possible, for instance, to present all that kind of information. And again, there's no harm you attaching this information onto supplement or complement your value proposition canvas and business model canvas. There's no guarantee that the judges will ignore that and go and read all this information. No, the clear instructions, the primary source of judging is on those two particular VPC and value business model canvas. I understand it can be hard to compress all that information, but entrepreneurship should not be sophisticated or complicated. It's the simplicity of your idea that's going to win you the grant. At this point, let me just take a detour to the messages very briefly and then come back. A woo mark to panelists. Thank you, Mr. Guma and your team NASE and UNDP for making us do understand our potential regarding ideas. I personally have learned a lot from all these sessions since the start. Thank you a lot, and may you be blessed always. Amen. Oh yeah, amen. Thank you very much, a woo mark. Very good, flattering comment. Thank you very much. Nkore Ruth is sending these chat groups that we talked about. We had agreed that we are not going to abuse this system. Why would you post your chat, your invitations to your WhatsApp groups to this chat? I don't know that the panelists can kick out Nkore Ruth. Peter, can you help me and kick out Ruth Nkore? This is abuse of the platform. We should not tolerate it. This noted. Sorry?
No, I was saying that noted for action.
Okay, good. This is not the kind of mindset we want to encourage or tolerate. I've mentioned this before. Yesterday, I mentioned it at the beginning. This is not part of the IDEAthon cohort that we're trying to create. Mindset is a really very important and powerful thing. This is not the kind of mindset we want to have. Gerald Muhumuza, I've also seen. Please also make note of this one. Indeed, make note of them all. We need to have a meeting and decide what to do with them, including potentially kicking them off the program. Anyway, back to questions. Let me see who else I can bring on board. Ken Angel, you're allowed to speak. Unmute.
Yes. Yes, thank you so much, Dennis. Ken Angel is my name. Then my question is, in regards to what Mr. Dixon was trying to elaborate. He said that for those that have videos, you need to attach links probably to a YouTube, but at the same time, remember that we are not disclosing ourselves to the judges. So how is that going to be like if probably the link takes the judge to where the video is? Probably some clarity on that. Thank you.
Very, very good observation. And that's why initially we did not do it. We explored it and then realized that's going to expose you or your idea even before you have actually gone to the next level. So you're right. And I share your concern. Perhaps we should drop that proposal. This is one of the reasons why this is kind of an interactive. But really, that's up to you. That's up to you. But we want to protect you and your idea as much as we possibly can. So I would discourage against that if it doesn't help you. That's why we're sticking to the value proposition canvas and the business model canvas for now. However, for some of the winners, there will be now another opportunity to be invited to pitch these ideas live in something that is likely going to end up on a TV or something of that type. And the other one is Kana Caesar. Kana Caesar, you're allowed to talk. Kana Caesar?
Yes, Kana Caesar is my name. Thanks for giving me this chance. The question I would like to ask is, one, I'm trying to option as in ICT, but I was also trying to, I don't know whether it is possible that I can also add renewable energy, because I can also like as in do something of that kind to renewable energy. And the second question is that what will be done, like as in for, not all of us will make to the top, not all of us will be chosen. So what will be done for some of us who will not be chosen, as in to be the grand winners? So because after all this long journey we have been in since from the thematic sessions, it's really something long and we are still youths. We need to be guided. Thanks.
You're welcome. And that is really one of the reasons the Youth IDEAthon is here for. Bear with me 1 second. One, I'm not sure that you can now be able to move your idea from one category to another or add another category, because adding another category might mean essentially that you've submitted a new idea past the deadline. So we'll try to discourage against that. But your question has been duly noted. I will discuss it with my colleagues and see how we can help. Let me see if I can take one more question and then we'll wrap it up, because we won't finish at 11 exactly. Let me look for a sister here. Delia Nalukwago. Delia Nalukwago, you're allowed to talk.
Hi guys, good morning. My name is Delia Nalukwago. Just to clarify, with the BMC and the VPC, right? Or if we do have a pitch deck that incorporates these two, are we then allowed to upload it? And then, sorry, the other question I had, I put it in the Q&A, but it wasn't answered. What business will be favored most in this entire program? Is it like already established with paying customers, or with a company with an MVP ready, but not necessarily paying customers, or just companies in idea phase?
Thank you very much, Delia.
Or rather,
I think we lost you a bit there. We lost you a bit, Delia, but I think the gist of your questions have been ably articulated, very articulate, and very good questions as well. If you have been familiar with this whole pitching malarkey, you're welcome to present a pitch deck if it incorporates these two. What we've shared is really, because the nature of the IDEAthon is at an entry level, we did not want to complicate things. We wanted to keep it simple, but cover the basics. So if you have a pitch deck that incorporates these two, you're welcome to use it. Although saying that you could also complete these two canvases and attach your pitch deck as well. So it's really up to you. Second question was whether some businesses will be preferred over others. The short answer is actually no. Even though we're saying that some ideas are already advanced, the reason we wanted to let participants know is for them not to think that this is such an entry-level thing that they can't shout about the successes that they already have. The UNDP is very keen to support businesses, to see them grow. It's much easier, for instance, if you already have that traction, it's more possible that you're likely to succeed. Maybe you will need less incubation or hand-holding because you're already on this particular journey. So the reason for us to separate these three different categories is so that we understand which businesses are where. And that is also going to guide us and the UNDP in terms of deciding the next level of support that we can actually offer. So that's mainly the purpose for that. But it does not mean that if your idea is at such an entry level that you will not win the grants. No, the judges, and that's why the judges are looking at these two main canvases mainly, but do not sell yourself short just because we've mentioned about advanced ideas and so on and so forth. But that was a very good question. I get an impression that you are in the startup space already and you're prepared to win this 100 million. For that matter, you've encouraged me to actually pick another one question. Let me have a look. Barbara Amuthere. Barbara Amuthere, you're allowed to talk. Barbara?
Thank you very much, Ms. Tanguma. I would like to inquire about the ideas we submitted. For example, I have 2 ideas and they're all falling under health. So am I supposed to do 2 BPCs or 2 BMCs, or I can combine them because they all actually have the same stuff? Thank you.
Thank you very much. My advice would be that you do 2 separate value propositions, because much as you think that they are the same stuff, I mean, when you get to the business model canvas, the key stakeholders might be the same. But if there are 2 different products, then they're serving 2 different potential needs or 2 different customer segments or things like that. So it will be helpful not to mix the 2, because if you do that, if you mix the 2, the judges might get confused as to what is it? What are you actually focusing on? Who is your target? So I would not encourage that you mix the 2, because there are 2 different ideas. Otherwise, there would have been 1 idea if they were one and the same. Shadia Nasanga. Shadia Nasanga, you're permitted to talk. Shadia Nasanga, if you can unmute yourself and talk.
I'm asking, my question is, if I have 2 solutions to a problem, for example, if one is like forming an application website and the other may be a facility. So do I make 2 VMCs and 2 BMCs, or I just take one because you told us to be specific?
Yes, you have a decision to make, Shadia. You need to decide which of those 2 you want to put forward. Of primary school tourists and retired tourists, those 2 are different categories. So even though you're talking about transport system, for instance, as an idea of moving these individuals from one place to another, their needs are going to be different. Some of the primary school kids might want to go dancing in the bus, whereas the old people just want air conditioning and peace and quiet, you know. So I would suggest separating those 2. So I see there's lots of hands still up. Sadly, it is now 11 o'clock and I'd like to bring this to a very quick close. Maybe just again to go back to our chat room to very quickly, as I call upon some of my colleagues, especially from the UNDP, to say a word or 2, if you could, again, take advantage of the chat box to let us know what your thoughts are about today's session, especially going through the IT challenges, what you think. That would be very helpful. My colleagues are still going to be available. Our telephone number, if you can throw it in there. Someone please make note of our telephone number in the chat. Make note of our email address, which you can chat with us. There's a lot of information on our website, www.undp.nase.co.ug. There is a lot of information on our YouTube channel. Please give us a like and subscribe, even on our Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram handles. And I would like to sincerely wish you all the best, all the very best. And all of you are winners already. It's not really so much about the money. Of course, I would love to give you all guys the money. But not all of you are going to win, but there's a significant number of you are going to win. At the very least 100, but as I mentioned, we're already in talks with our partners to see what more support can be given to the vast majority of you. We suspect there will be 2 rounds, the first round being what we promised, where someone's going to win 100 million shillings, and the others will win grants smaller based on the region, based on the idea. So there's still a lot to play for. Do not settle, do not despair. You'll be surprised. I find that I've been a judge on a number of these things, and I find that sometimes the simplest ideas are usually the best ideas. So don't settle, crack on, and do this in a positive manner. You will not regret. So I'd like to maybe Dixon Mushabe, if you're still there, your last parting shots to our lovely participants, and then I'll come back to maybe I can't remember who, but Dixon, any last words you want to give to these young?
All right. Thank you so much, participants, for the feedback. Thank you for the comments, and we appreciate that you enjoying the system, that you found it user-friendly. Please note again that there is a live chat ready for you in case you have any issue. Drop it there, and the admins will respond to you in real time. And actually, the chat also shows how long they took before responding to you. So we are tracking all that. At the end of the day, we want to give you an experience, a fast-class experience. Was your chat responded to in time? You know, did you miss out because the judge or a mentor didn't respond to in time? So we are going to be considering all very many things, of many parameters. I wish you all the best, and maybe to let you know that, but even just you by being on this platform, receiving all the mentorship, receiving all the sessions, just it's enough. Even if you dropped out right now and you made up your idea to use the information you got to start your business or grow it, you would grow it even without funding. So just consider yourself winners. Give this thing your 100%. Like I've mentioned to you, it is transparent. The judges want to know you. It's about the idea. The idea will win. And also try as much as possible not to look for the judges, as in try to work on your idea as opposed to trying to do shortcuts. Because once you find you out doing shortcuts, really, it won't be good for you, for your business. You know, there are no shortcuts in business. Make mistakes, learn from them, fail early, but fail forward. I wish you all the best. I'll be back. I'll be in the back end supporting you, and surely we are here to make sure every idea gets the amount of coverage and amount of transparency and accountability that it deserves. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Dixon. I think you nailed it. There's not really much to add. Bear with me 1 second. There's not really much to add, only to say congratulations for making it this far. You have one last hurdle. Key deadline is tomorrow midnight. Do not wait for midnight. Make sure that from now onwards you're working on your canvases and that they'll be ready. Upload them by all means. You can re-upload them countless times, but start having something put on the digital platform to avoid last-minute rushes. But other than that, I'd like to thank you guys for your participation, the various questions you've asked, the chats. It's actually been enjoyable even for me and the rest of the team. So from NASE, the UNDP, as well as our other support partners, I would like to say thank you very much and wish you all the best. And please make note of the deadline tomorrow on Friday. Thank you. Have a good day.